Hello and welcome to 6.2 notes page, solving equations using addition and subtraction. A solution of an equation is a value that makes the equation true, which means for the first time we're going to be figuring out what the actual variable is. Substitute the value of the variable into the equation. You can simplify the left and the right side separately. If they're equal, then the value of the variable is a solution to the equation. So basically, that's fancy words for if you fill in a spot for the variable, if both sides are equal, then that must have been correct. Here's our first type of question we'll have is checking an answer. Tell whether the given value is a solution of the equation. They put p plus 10 equals 38, and they are saying that p equals 18. So the question is p equal to 18? So the way you check is you replace p with 18, and you have 18 plus 10 on the left side of the equation. Is it equal to, which the book uses a question mark equals, 38. And what you do is you work on the left side, which is just 18 plus 10, which is actually 28, which is not equal to 38. The not equal to sign is the equals with a slash through it. Therefore, our answer to this is no, 18 is not correct. So that's the first type of question, figuring out if a potential answer is correct or not. Here's a second one here. 4y, which means 4 times y, equals 56. Does y equal 14? So 4, and remember that means times. I'm going to use my parentheses. Does it equals, question mark equals, 56. 4 times 14, I'm going to go on the side for it. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 1 plus 1, 56. So this one is equal. So I'm going to use the regular equal to sign. The answer to the question is yes. I'll box in both of them. The answer is yes, y does equal 14. These would be the easier ones in this particular section where they tell you what they think the answer is and you just check to see if they were right or not. The next level question is when you actually have to solve it yourself and check your answer. So you're trying to figure out what the x or the variable is. This first one we do is very straightforward and rather simple. X minus 2 equals 6. So what minus 2 equals 6? I'm sure you could probably figure it out anyway. We're going to show you a process for figuring this out. So that way, not only can you do the super easy ones, you'll be able to do some really challenging ones in the future. So here's the general process, which we'll also go over in class. The equal sign splits your equation into a left side and a right side. The basic idea is you want to, as it says up top, isolate the variable, which means get it alone. You want to have x be by itself. You will use inverse operations to undo an operation to solve a problem. So basically on the left side we have x minus 2. To get x by itself, we're going to do the inverse of minus 2, which is plus 2. These two kind of balance each other out here, because if you take a number, if you take away 2 and add 2, you go right back to that original number. You have x by itself. The addition property of equality just means if you add or subtract and to both sides of the equation, the two sides will remain the same. So on the left, if we add 2, on the right we have to add 2 as well to keep our equation balanced. 6 plus 2 is 8. That's our answer. That's a more complicated way. I'm sure you could have figured out as 8 just by looking at it, but we're going to do some really challenging ones, so you're going to need to show this step to both sides, and there'll be different steps in the future. Again, this is the simplest one. It does say check your answer. Check your answer means do what you did here, just to be sure that it's right. I think you're going to obviously know this one, but we would have 8 minus 2 because we think 8x is 8, question mark equals 6, and then we know 8 minus 2 is 6, so this one worked. You don't have to put yes there. Sometimes in the book they put a check mark because like, oh, I checked it right here. If these two were not equal, that tells you you have the answer wrong and you should try it again. All right, let's look at this one. 18 equals x minus 7. Again, we're going to split it left and right. This one's still not super tough, a little confusing because the x appears on the right side. We want to get x by itself. We want to isolate it. We have with it is a minus 7. The inverse is plus 7. If we do that, that will basically undo the previous operation, leaving you with just x. And if you add 7 to one side, you have to add 7 to the other. You're going to get 25. And then to check it, we'd be, question mark equals 25 minus 7. If I subtract that correctly, I'll get 18. Therefore, this is checked. That is correct. We're going to again show our work going downward. I know in elementary school, sometimes they just like change the minus and they only put the plus on one side, the plus 7. We're going to be showing it to both sides. It's going to help you solve some more complicated ones later. We got a few more here. This one's just trying to change it up a little bit by having it start with a plus. So the inverse of plus 2 to get the variable by itself is minus 2. That's really it. And if you use minus 2 to one side, you gotta make sure you do the same to the other. The answer would be 7. We can check it. 7 plus 2, question mark equals 9. 7 plus 2 is 9. This worked out. That one is checked. We're gonna draw a line down the middle here. 26 equals 11 plus x. To get x by itself, it has an 11 with it. The inverse of 11 would be minus or negative 11. So if we subtract these two, we're going to get 15. That'd be our answer. We can check it though. 26 question mark equals 11 plus 15. 11 plus 15 is 26, so that worked out. Check. Going on to the last one here, this combines the last two sections. It's a word problem. We need to put it in the order the events happen, and then we're going to solve it. Here we go. You received some money for your birthday, and you want to buy the reflector telescope shown. So there's our telescope. There's a price on it. After you buy the telescope, you have $25.50 of your birthday money left. Define a variable, then write and solve an equation to determine how much money you received for your birthday. So we're trying to figure out how much money you received. That's our variable. I'll use M for money received. And then if we put the story in order, we received money. We then subtract, because we spent money, a bunch of money, $275.95. And we ended with the $25.50 left over. That's our equation. That's what we did last section, but now we're going to solve it to figure out how much money we started out with. So the inverse operation would be, if it was minus, would be add. And when I add over here, I'm going to make sure that I line up my decimal point. And now as I add going downward, carry a 1, carry a 1, carry a 1, decimal point. You received money sign $301.45 for your birthday. Thanks, and we'll see you in the class.